Hey there, Pastor Michael here. If you are a pastor or a ministry leader and you've ever asked this question or had this thought, I know I should invest, I just don't really know where to start, then I want you to know you are in the right place. So today I'm going to give you this simple checklist of how to get started, the 5 things that are essential to getting started with investing. And this is a list that I wish that I had had over 15 years ago when I started investing. It would have made life so much easier, and things would look very, very different now if I could have eliminated some of the challenges early on and had a clear path to follow to get me to where I wanted to go. Things would have been much better, and I'm offering that to you today. So to do that, though, let's first ask the question, why is it that most pastors never start investing? And I think the obvious answer is that ministry life is full, right? We are constantly juggling sermon prep, hospital visits, counseling sessions, youth dodgeball events. All of these things that we're doing in leading a ministry or leading a church keeps our schedule very, very full. And let me tell you, I cannot count the number of times I have heard a pastor say, I would really like to learn how to invest. That's interesting to me. I just don't think I have the bandwidth to add something else to my plate right now. Have you ever thought that? Has that ever been you? Well, when someone says to you, you should start investing, what you're hearing is, here's something else that's overwhelming that you need to put on your plate that you don't have the time or the money for, right? And to you, I want to say something very, very simple. Investing doesn't have to be overwhelming. And it definitely doesn't have to feel like you are learning getting a whole new degree or having to take on this huge undertaking. It is not that overwhelming when you know what to do and what to look for. And so I want to help ease this process for you and help you get started with a simple checklist of 5 essential things you need to get going. And this is all you need to get started, and you can begin this today. It's really, really simple. Number 1, the first essential thing you have to have is a brokerage account. So you have to have some kind of account, some kind of way in which you can buy or sell investments. And a brokerage account is how you do that. It functions like a bank account for stocks. Now, Tradier Brokerage is my preferred broker. I've partnered with them. I don't get any benefit from that for you opening an account with them. There's no kickback to me, so it is a genuine recommendation. I've used them for years, and a short while ago, they saw what I was doing and approached me about becoming partners. They believe in me, and what I'm doing, I believe in them. It makes a great fit. So I want to encourage you to use Tradier Brokerage, but if you don't like them or if you have another broker that you're already using, you are free to use whatever broker you want to use. But the checklist item number 1 is to have a brokerage account. Number 2 is to have a checking account, right? You have to have some way of moving money from your account to your brokerage account. And usually checking accounts are the easiest way. So you can mail in a check to your broker. You can do an ACH transfer, which is my preferred way. It's super simple. It's secure. It's a great way of moving money from your existing checking account into a brokerage account. Step number 3, or checklist item number 3, is that cash, right? Well, you have to have something to move from your bank account to your brokerage account. And this is where a lot of people get hung up. A lot of pastors and ministry leaders look at investing, look at the stock market, and think they have to have a large amount of capital to do this well and to get started in it. And they're like, hey, I don't have $10,000 sitting around that I can start buying stocks with, and $20,000 or $50,000. And the truth is, you don't need any of that. You can get started with $100. It doesn't take much at all. That's it. All you need is to get started. It doesn't matter what the amount is. Just get started. This is the same way we as pastors encourage people to start tithing to the church, right? You don't have to give this huge amount of money. You just need to start giving. Give where you're at and give from where you are, and then see it grow and multiply over the long term. That's the same thing that we're doing here. So that was checklist item number 3. Now, real quick, quick side note: if you're wanting to do more advanced strategies where you're being more entrepreneurial, starting your own business, you're wanting to generate monthly income as kind of a side hustle or a side business through investing or through trading, then you would need a margin account, and you would need a minimum of $2,000 in that account to do that. And I talk about that in my income plan within Stocks for Pastors. But to just get started with the growth plan and to begin investing in stocks, if you're not interested in that side of things, you can get started with as little as $100. All right, item number 4 on the checklist is a strategy. Now, this is the secret sauce. Steps 1 through 3, those are all kind of obvious things, right? You have to have those things, and that makes sense. None of us are surprised by that. But this is where a lot of people get hung up. They come into it and they decide, you know what, I'm just going to guess. I'm going to buy this stock because I've heard of it before, because I like it. I think it's a good one. I'm just going to buy it, and they hope that it's going to work, and they pray that it works out. And you should be praying. But I don't think God designed prayer to be the kind of thing where you just pray that the investment that you made makes a lot of money, right? That's not the point. The plan that you have is critical. So checklist item number 4, you have to develop a strategy. You need to know what to buy, why you're buying it, when you're buying it, and when you're going to exit it. All of those things I teach in the growth plan within Stocks for Pastors. It's rooted in seasonal patterns, by the way. Real data that shows how certain stocks perform at certain times of the year after year, oftentimes with as much as 80 or 90% consistency. So you're not gambling, you're stewarding with wisdom the resources that God has entrusted to you. And then number 5, the 5th item on that checklist is time. And that is one of the biggest, maybe even bigger than the money side of things. Time is always the one we go, I don't have time for this, but here's the real kicker. To do what I do, you only need 10 to 15 minutes per week. That's it. I spend less time each month investing in stocks than I do watching TikTok bloopers of The Office outtakes and things like that, right? I love those. Those are hilarious. I spend way too much time watching those probably, but still, it's more time on that than I spend on picking which stocks I'm going to buy. Because the system I've developed over the years has been built around the busy life of a pastor or a ministry leader. It only takes a few minutes per week. So here's where I'm going to add a little bonus value for you and help maybe ease some fear and some tension and maybe set you free a little bit. I'm going to give you a couple of bonus things of what you don't need to get started. Number 1, you don't need different media outlets or financial news networks. You don't need to sit back and watch CNBC every morning or read the latest articles on Bloomberg.com, right? You don't need that kind of stuff. You don't have to listen to what Jim Cramer says every single day. You don't have to track interest rates or company financials and fundamental earnings reports, all that kind of stuff. You don't need any of that. You don't have to time the market. You don't have to have a ton of money or time to get started. All of that stuff is a bunch of noise that is not going to help you and will consume more from you than it provides to you in return. Instead, what you need is peace, what you need is a process, and you need clarity around what it is that you're doing, all of which I teach in the growth plan with Stocks for Pastors. So let's say you start with $100 and you grow at 2% return on investment per month. Right? That's not a lot. You're going to make a couple bucks per month. That's not very much, right? But compound it over time. After a year, you've got $127 if you're not adding anything else to it. And I would encourage you, add money to your brokerage account every single month. Make that a commitment where you're going to put $20, $50, $100 a month into your brokerage account every single month. And that adds to the capital you have available to trade with. But over time, that's going to build from $127 to $200 by year 3, and then so on and so on and so on. Now scale it to $1,000 or $5,000 and see what happens over 10, 15, 20 years. If you remain faithful and consistent in that, Man, the real win isn't in those individual returns. It's in the rhythm. It's in the process of learning how to do this. And after a decade or two, you have built a very, very nice nest egg for you and for your family. So you stop living with this stress about your financial future that just kind of weighs on you like a blanket. Instead, now you're starting to build something sustainable and something predictable and that is faithfully going to be adding to your account month by month by month. So, if you have been standing on the edge and you're, thinking about getting into it, but you just that piece has held you back, that I just don't have the bandwidth to learn something new. I want this video to be that gentle nudge that you need. That hey, you can do this. You don't have to make this grand investment and of time and of resources. You're not taking on another MDiv degree to do this. You're going to spend a couple hours going through some materials, through some coursework, learning the fundamentals of everything you need to know, and then once you've got that down, we're talking 10 to 15 minutes a week is all you need to learn how to do this well. So I'm going to drop a link in the description below, and I would love for you to take a look at this and let's start a conversation about how I can help you begin to invest, as I'm helping dozens and dozens of other pastors literally around the world learn how to invest in stocks for themselves so that they have a better financial future. Can't wait to see you guys in the next video.